Hi, I'm David Lederberg with Smart Charge America, here today to talk with you about the Generation 2 versus Generation 3 brand new Tesla wall connector. So I'm here, part of Smart Charge America. We're a company completely focused on the installation of electric car charging stations. This is all we do. I've been doing it for since 2007, and definitely very excited to talk about this brand new Tesla Generation 3 wall connector. So I wanted to bring out also the Generation 2 and to talk about the differences. This is the one that's been out for quite a few years now, and there are some very notable differences. First of all, I noticed as soon as it came in, I ordered this day of that it came out, which is this past Wednesday, and now it is the next day, within 24 hours, it shipped, and I received it here in Texas 5 days from the date of order. So I ordered on Wednesday, got it this Monday, and so very excited to see it coming very rapidly as soon as it was available. So the first thing, the box size, you'll notice here, the Generation 2, it's a much larger box. It takes up a lot more space on the shelf, on the FedEx and the shipping facilities as well. It's also awkwardly weighted, not very easy to carry. It's awkward as compared to the Generation 3, much smaller, sleeker box. I really like it. It's simple. It's going to take up a lot less space on my shelf. I sell a lot of wall connectors. It's got a handle on it too. Very cool to make it easy to transport, more reliable. So as far as what's inside the box, we'll get into that shortly. Something just notable: the Generation 3 does not come with a paper manual. I really like this. I install thousands and thousands of wall connectors. You can imagine how many manuals that equates to. It's just a waste in my book. I hate it. It just leave it with the customers. They probably don't use it. They might throw it away. Hopefully they recycle it. But now I really, kudos to Tesla for getting rid of as much paper as possible. Much smaller box, smaller footprint, less shipping costs, less shipping impact. So very much appreciate that. So let's start with the unboxing. So first, Generation 3, turn around the box, open it from the handle side. You will see here, first you get a nice little message here where it says, "Thank you for accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy." Definitely appreciate that. Like a nice black box, much less cardboard material compared to the Generation 2. So here you can see the finish here as well. It's also really nice. It's almost like a glass-like or plexiglass white finish. This is unlike any previous generation wall connector, whereas really the Generation 1 was a metal finish. Generation 2 came off with more like a plastic silver finish, which also then changed with some variations where this is a signature matte black, as well as a more commonly available glossy black finish. And so it was prone to breaking unless you were careful, knew what you were doing. But it certainly wasn't uncommon that I got a call from the customer and ended up having to swap faceplates. This one, it's all integrated. There's no faceplate that you need to move around or adjust. So it's one of those things that I like right away, just first off about it. It's very nice. Kind of compare it over here to our Generation 2. Open up this box, you can see again, much larger box. Got a lot of packing material here. Just get out of the way. You notice we have a significant amount of hardware material, which in a lot of cases, there's always extra. So I have all this extra metal, extra hardware, mounting options that there's always going to be extra. It's a waste. I got bins full of this stuff. I can't bring myself to throwing it into a landfill. So I really appreciate Tesla's very little hardware with the Gen 3, which is much more efficient. Really like that about it. They figured out a much better way to approach it. Here you'll see coming to the actual body of the wall connector. We've got this whole thing. It's got this typical bubble wrap paper protecting it. And then we got this plastic finish on it. So you can see it's much even larger compared to the Generation 3. You still have the integrated cable connector holster inside the unit. This is much heavier, much larger. You have the integrated reset button, along with the typical safety and caution UL listing badging. So you also notice this cable, much larger, 100 amp capable cable. Now, as we compare that to our generation 3, you're gonna see there's quite a sharp contrast here, where first of all, the cable here, much smaller compared to generation 2. This is a 60 amp max charger. That means 48 amp max continuous draw. Even the size of this cable compared to a lot of the 40 amp chargers I install, much smaller. So it's very malleable, simple to move around. It's not too stiff that it's difficult to manage from, just looking so far. I've got the safety message here on the side, typical UL stamp, of course, integrated cable holster, as well as cable management that sits in between the wall where it'll be mounted and the top of this unit. So going a little further, the cable, talking about that, this is an 18-foot cable, whereas every previous generation 1 and generation 2 wall connector was a 24-foot model, most common, which the maximum allowable by National Electric Code is 25. They had 24 with also 8-foot cable variations that you could order. So now we're looking at 18-foot currently available as of this taping, along with the specs mentioning the option of an 8-foot, which I understand should be available in the future. 18-foot I think is still manageable. I like the extra length. I'd rather have it, not need it, than need it, not have it. But clearly, they wanted to change things a little bit. They still retain the same $500 US price point that it is. It still has the front indicator lights to indicate charging activity, as well as any error codes, as well as a nifty feature to help confirm the amperage setting. So along with this, you'll notice I'll take this, open this up a little bit more. Got this front packing, I'll take this away. Then here, transition to the connector. So the connector here has a glossy black finish, whereas previous ones had usually either matching silver or even a matte black. They retain the glossy black finish. Along with the connectors here, pretty much looks like any other Tesla connector out there, except for I noticed that the connecting points in here are no longer copper. They're now aluminum. Of course, aluminum has different properties as far as conductivity, weight, manufacturing parts of it as well, many different properties that make this something, just different properties as far as why you might want to use copper versus aluminum. What Tesla did, you'll notice too, the generation 2 mobile connector is actually transitioned from copper in generation 1 to aluminum in generation 2. I know the Tesla engineers probably thought a lot about this, not just cost, but also just long-term viability, conductivity, reliability. And so they chose this aluminum, not necessarily my first choice, but I do believe they put a lot of thought into it and probably made the right choice considering all the different factors they were weighing. So again, just noticing, looking at the different things that we're seeing are slightly different. So another interesting part, this is Wi-Fi connected charger. This is the first charger that Tesla's ever had that's Wi-Fi connected. All the idea previously was that the car is connected. So you don't need the charger connected because the charger connects to the car and communicates. Absolutely, works fine. However, now they have Wi-Fi connectivity to allow future firmware and software updates. So I think that's neat. It's a kind of more forward-looking approach. It doesn't require Wi-Fi connectivity in order for it to function. However, if you want to take advantage of the latest firmware. Another great reason I really like Wi-Fi connectivity for this is that whereas in generation 2, they have this great feature called load share. So load share is something we did very commonly at commercial as well as people's homes with multiple Teslas. So it allows me to connect up to 4 wall connectors to the same electrical circuit. And I have additional communication wire we connect to help share that power between the different chargers on the same circuit without overloading that circuit. Now, in order to do that with a generation 3, you're looking at wireless communication. So I no longer have to install additional communication wire. I really like that. Plus you can have up to 16 wall connectors in a load share configuration. So a big shift here is that each wall connector has its own 60 amp dedicated circuit, allowing it to maximize the charging capabilities of the wall connector. Then the load share isn't designed to share a circuit, it's designed to share potentially an entire panel or an entire transformer. So it ensures that even across in a 3-phase electrical commercial environment, it can balance the load across all the chargers and ensure nothing is tripping, and it's maximizing the capability and charging capability for each vehicle as well as the overall electrical infrastructure. Currently is not available as of this taping. It's a week after release. It says it will be available with a future firmware update. So another good reason you want to have this connected to Wi-Fi to get those updates. So looking forward to that, and I'll certainly test that when that comes out. So again, 48 amp max charging rate, very cool so far. I really like this from what I'm seeing, a lot of great improvements. I just got this charger. I'm going to be installing it very shortly in my lab and doing some testing with it. So I look forward to doing an updated video with some results of that testing. Again, just another look here at these two, Generation 2 and Generation 3 Tesla wall connector. Thank you for your time today. Please feel free to leave any comments, subscribe to our channel, share with friends. Let me know if you have any questions. I look forward to adding additional content to this and follow up later. Thanks for watching.